You're not just tired because you didn't sleep. You're tired because you've been emotionally multitasking all day. Not only all day, but all week, all month, all year since your parenting journey began. Managing the energy, regulating yourself, and holding space for everyone while quietly suppressing your own needs. This isn't just parenting, it's emotional leadership, and no one has trained us for this, but it's also us stepping into that leadership role for our family. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what emotional labor is in parenting and give you a few small but powerful shifts that you can start using today to lighten that invisible load. I'm Julie Cornish. I am the founder of the Rewired Parent, a place where we transform our parenting from the inside out. And before we get started, I want to just acknowledge the parents who feel like they're failing. I want to bring it up because it was a personal difficulty for me, and sometimes still is, around parenting content. I would come up when reading parenting books or watching things on YouTube where I would just have to turn them off because it would really bring up a lot of shame and guilt for me because I felt like I wasn't doing it right or I wasn't doing enough. So if you're a parent who feels like you're failing or you're not getting it right, you've tried everything, you have tried to stay calm and you're attempting to be the steady one, but you feel like more often than not, you're missing the mark rather than making the mark. I just want to remind you that you're not failing. You're a human being and you're learning to lead in one of the most emotionally complex roles that there are. Emotional regulation isn't about perfection. It's about returning. It's about continuing to show up, coming back to center after the rupture, trying again, repairing and growing, not about perfection. If you're struggling to get there, if you're feeling totally overwhelmed, reactive, or shut down, I encourage you to start with your nervous system. That's usually the foundation. If our nervous system is not feeling safe, this journey is going to be much more difficult. So start with some tools to begin to regulate your nervous system, and please give yourself compassion. Talking negatively to yourself is not going to help. You're on a beautiful journey. It's going to unfold exactly the way that it's supposed to. So give yourself love and compassion. Be kind to yourself. And a little bit later in the videos, I will get to some nervous system relaxation tips that you can start to implement. But there's also a ton of information on the internet and on YouTube and ways that you can begin to calm your nervous system. And in the future, I'll definitely do a video that addresses that more directly. You need to feel safe enough to continue to keep showing up and to try again. You need to be able to take that pause and that breath and really practice that self-compassion, because this is work. This is emotional labor, and it is enough to begin again. It's enough to continue to show up every day, even when you fail, start over, do it again. You've got this. You deserve the support. You deserve the love. That's not what emotional labor is. It's managing the emotional climate of your home, hour by hour, moment by moment. You're not just meeting the needs. You're anticipating the needs before anyone can even speak. You're knowing how to keep the emotional regulation of your home. It's the little things. It's knowing that your toddler prefers a certain color cups so they don't have a meltdown. It's preparing the snacks to keep your kids from getting hangry. It's seeing your teen's mood shift into a silent or moody state and knowing how to connect with them, to change your tone, to allow the environment to feel safe so that they can communicate with you. You're constantly rewriting how you speak, choosing soft tones over sharp tones, offering choice instead of commands, because that's calming to the nervous system. It helps your child regulate, and you know these things and you're able to show up and do them. And sometimes you're juggling multiple emotional storms at once. If you are living in the same house with another parent, you often may be buffering your partner's stress and navigating your children's big feelings depending on how much support you have, while at the same time suppressing and managing and regulating your own emotional storm. This is not just work. You're the CEO. This is high stakes emotional strategy in your home. And it's why you feel depleted even when it seems like nothing major is happening. So often the work we do as parents is invisible. The world doesn't reward invisible labor. And so much of parenting is just that, especially when you're practicing this aware or conscious parenting. The efforts that you're putting forth are often unseen, they're not really measurable, and they're not acknowledged. Parenting can sometimes feel incredibly thankless, and that's difficult. You're not given credit for staying calm when your child is having a meltdown or your teen is yelling at you. You don't get praise for regulating your nervous system before you respond. You don't get rewarded for the effort of your research that you're doing to find more strategies to manage the emotional ecosystem of your home. And oftentimes, because you make it look easy, because you're not falling apart, it doesn't get noticed. Nobody sees the emotional labor and effort that you're putting forth. And that's another added challenge, and that builds a bit of resentment. So here's the truth. When labor is invisible, it doesn't get acknowledged. If it doesn't get acknowledged, it doesn't get shared. And when it doesn't get shared, you burn out. This is not a fail. This is not a character flaw. It's an issue with the system.